To you from Be Money Wiser, and we're going to be bringing to you the hashtag 100 Ways to Be Money Wiser by Mrs. T. Tilda Nabanja. We're going to be running this hashtag 100 Ways to Be Money Wiser on U24 Television. Don't miss out.
U24. Don't miss on U24.
Entrepreneurs Hub, giving you a deep and unique insight into agribusiness, services, ICT and innovation, industrialization and so much more. Entrepreneurs Hub, growing your small, medium and large business entity. With yours truly, Sandra Kahunde.
Hi, my name is Doreen Tuhidire, coming to you from Be Buyinza, and we're going to be bringing to you the hashtag 100 Ways to Be Buyinza by Mrs. Tilda Nabanja. We're going to be running this hashtag 100 Ways to Be Buyinza on U24 Television. Don't miss out.
Good evening and welcome to the Checkpoint. This is U24 Television, the National Youth Development and Educational Channel. The Checkpoint comes to you every week on Tuesday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. here on U24 Television. At the Checkpoint, it is where truth is spoken and voices are heard. This evening, we are discussing an interesting topic, examining the role of the youth in crime prevention in Africa. My name is John Vianny Ayebare. I'm the host for this evening. And with me, I have an able panel. And permit me introduce to you this very panel without wasting much of your time. I will start on my immediate left hand. I have Superintendent of Police, William Ayaregah. Forgive me if I don't pronounce that very well.
Ayaregah, yes.
But he is the head of the anti-trafficking unit at the CID in Ghana Police Services. He has come all the way from Accra, Ghana. Thank you, sir, for joining us this evening on the Checkpoint.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much indeed. Next, I have Rose Nabwire. Rose Nabwire, she is the 28th Guild President for Makerere University Business School. And we are very happy to have you this evening, Madam, on the Checkpoint. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Next, I have Solomon Buyinza. Solomon is a lawyer, and indeed will be giving us those things called the legal perspective. And we are very much excited to have you here on the show, Solomon.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited to be here as well.
Thank you very much. We are streaming live on YouTube. You could search U24 Television, and you'll be able to find this conversation live on YouTube. But you can also follow U24 Television on X, on TikTok, and all other social media handles. And I want to go immediately to our guest who has come from Accra, Ghana, before I go to the rest of my guests this evening, to give us a perspective. When we speak about the youth in the African context, what are we speaking about?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to greet the government and the people of Uganda, particularly the Director General of the United Nations African Institute for the Prevention of Crime and the treatment of offenders, for giving me opportunity to travel from Ghana to be part of the capacity building for law enforcement officers from the Uganda Police Force on human trafficking and migrant smuggling. In the African perspective, or the universal perspective, when we are talking about the youth, we are talking about the youth who are between the ages, for instance, after teenage, that is from, let's take it, 19 to 40 years, are being classified as the youth. And they are the workforce of every country. And they are very, very important. Unfortunately, in ours in Africa, our population is very youthful, unlike other countries where they are having an aging population. But Africa is blessed to be having youthful population in our part of the world.
Thank you so much. That's important. He speaks of Africa being blessed with a youthful population. And I want to go to Solomon before I come to Rose. On that context, the fact that Africa is that youthful in nature, do you agree with that context he has given us? What do you have to say on your understanding of the youth? And you could tell us whether you are still a youth. You have said 19 to 40.
I didn't know that was part of what I was going to be talking about. But yes, thank you so much. I think he has given an elaborative definition in as far as the youth are concerned. And maybe just to add, I think the definition could vary depending on the jurisdictions, yes. For example, you realize that in some jurisdictions, a child, rather an adult person, is someone who is of the age of 16 and above. And in some jurisdictions, an adult person is someone who is 18 and above, okay? So when it comes to the youth particularly, I think it could also vary. Yes, finding that in some jurisdictions, youth are considered to be people who are between the age of 18 and 30. In some jurisdictions, the youth are considered to be people of the age of 18, between 18 to 40, like he said, yes. But globally, I think he has given us the definition of a youth. And I agree with what he said, that in Africa, we are blessed to have a youthful population, yes, in most of the African countries. Yes, if I remember well, I think Uganda is in the position of, it's the third when it comes to having a youthful population globally, yes. So we are blessed as a continent to have that empowerment, yes. But unfortunately, as we'll be realizing from our discussion today, we are also having a number of challenges as youth, and yes, I am one of them.
Thank you very much. You'll be giving us your context as a youth. And Rose, the big numbers that Africa has in regard to youth, I want you to take us into consideration. Is it a blessing or it's a problem?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I would want to say in both perspectives, it's a blessing and also it could be a problem. So according to the African Union Charter, they say a youth is a person from the age of 15 to 40. In Uganda, we say 18. Another country you'll find, but in Africa, they put it from 15 to 40. So we are blessed to have such a task force as a continent. But, you know, whenever we have a very huge population and with, you know, Africa as a continent actually has enough resources, but people have decided to go out there to look for greener pastures. So that's where the problem comes from. And also people waiting for maybe to receive things that, to come easily. And most of them have decided to work hard instead of working smart. But having a huge task force as the youth is actually a blessing, because that means we are going to be able to have able mothers, able children, able brothers, able fathers. But poverty is one of the reasons as to why the youth are not as of use, as we could say, on the continent.
Thank you, Rose. And she brings in a good perspective, and I want to pick William's mind on that, especially when she speaks of poverty as the biggest challenge. But the youth and their engagement in crime prevention in Africa, what do you think is the status? If we were to gauge, are youth properly engaged? And if not, do you think there are push factors that prevent the youth from being active participants in crime prevention?
Great. You know, the youth, as I earlier indicated, is the majority of the population. And for that reason, there must be a deliberate set of policies and programs targeting the youth so that they are able to channel their strength and their resources to meaningful production. When I talk of meaningful production, that is into agriculture, into education. Don't forget, education is the backbone of every country. And uninformed population is a disadvantage to that country. And the only way as a country or as a continent we can fight poverty is through education. So if people are not educated, they can easily be swayed, they can easily be deceived. And that brings into mind how most youth in Africa, particularly in our part of the world, anytime they see anything on social media about job vacancies, about employment, they don't do what we call due diligence. They always fall into these scammers. And at the end of the day, either they are being exploited in different ways. So the youth, yes, they need to be part of what we call a decision-making bodies in the grassroots level as a peace mediators. They must also be used as a maybe early warning system. For instance, and also advocate for social cohesion. What do I mean by that? They can form drama groups, art and culture, in order to drum home the need for the youth to abstain from crime and all kind of its negative consequences. Youth they must abstain from drugs, crime, and other negative things that always have negative repercussion on the youth. For instance, when you are a young man and you are engaged in crime, the possibility of you growing to realize your full potential are sometimes curtailed, because sometimes the law will surely catch up with you. And when the law catch up with you, surely you will face the consequences of the law. So all that I would say is that the youth need to be educated about the dangers of crime. They need to be engaged, particularly awareness raising in second cycle institutions. We must engage them for them to know the consequences of what crime. Hence, they will abstain from committing crime that may lead them to a place that they may not want in the future. They must channel their strength to, as I said, peace builder, grassroots peace builder. They must channel their strength to an early warning system. In their locality, they can support early warning monitoring to inform the decision makers so that they'll be able to, if there's any issue come, the authorities will be able to get a wind of it and be able to solve it, than channeling their strength to crime and other things that will end up destroying their career and their beautiful expectation that they have in the future.
Thank you very much. That's interesting. But if it is also interesting to you, the viewer, you have a chance to make a contribution to this show, you could go on YouTube and send in your comment. I tell you, I'll be reading it later on in the show. You could ask a question, make a contribution, or a comment. Thank you very much. I want to go to Solomon. The superintendent gives us a view that the youth can do something on the grassroots. I wanted you to give us your perspective, borrowing from South Africa, and what has been happening with the youth in South Africa, who are very energetic, and you know, they have formed vigilante groups, but not to fight crime, but rather to agitate for Africans to leave South Africa. So in your opinion, is that one of the ways the youth can be productively engaged in fighting crime?
Yes, thank you so much, our host, Vianny. I think, yes, the youth can actually be involved in fighting crime and preventing crime. They can be productive, okay? It's unfortunate that the workforce that we are blessed with as a continent has instead become a disadvantage okay, when it comes to the area of crimes. For example, you just mentioned South Africa, you know, those youth that engaged in xenophobia and, you know, committing crimes against fellow Africans, expelling them from their country. And the backbone of that, from their side, yes, from their perspective, is that they don't have jobs, okay? And these people that are foreigners have taken over their jobs. And I think it explains why. It's part of the problem of the high crime rate, okay, that is perpetuated by the youth. I was reading a report by the United Nations which was indicating that actually here in the Ugandan prisons, okay, not almost, but actually 75 to 80% of the people that are in the prisons are youth, okay? So that just explains that there is a lot of involvement of the youth in perpetuating crimes. And yes, if we are to tackle the high crime rates, we have to begin there. How do we channel that their skills, how do we channel their abilities into being productive other than participating in the commission of crimes? And the superintendent elaborated very well, okay, we can involve them into advocacy, okay, of advocating for justice. We can involve them into policy making, okay, having them involved with the whole policy making process so that they are not left out, okay? And yes, unemployment being one of those major problems that leads to these youth committing crimes. I think we can look into how to create more opportunities for the youth so that the energy that would have been wasted in committing crimes can actually be used productively in doing something that benefits society.
Thank you very much. I have some feedback, and Elizabeth Mbabazi is following, and Belinda Mbazude, she's also following, and they're giving kudos to the panelists and saying hello to Rose, and they're feeling very inspired. But Rose, as these people are getting inspired, I want you to speak to us on inspiring the youth in the field of crime prevention. From what someone has discussed and from the superintendent's words, what we gather could be that the African youth, there could be some strategies to engage them. What would you propose from that angle?
Okay, thank you so much once again for that amazing question. So you know, Vianny, most people, especially the youth, when they hear crime and crime prevention, their mind first goes to prisons, courts,
the police,
you know.
In Uganda, at one time we had crime preventers.
Exactly, we are going to prison anytime. But before we go to maybe policies that enforce the law, we should be able to create responsible youths, youths that are very responsible. And how does that come about? We need to have intentional change makers within the continent, people that are willing to stand up and fight for these young people and voice out their issues. But also, as we stand into that space to ensure that we are advocating for the youths to be represented, we are advocating for the youths to feel heard, we need to also make sure that us as individuals in our communities, it could be in your family, it could be in your church, it could be anywhere, stand out, mentor young people, talk to them, tell them they can become the best versions of themselves. But then also the young people need to do peer-to-peer education. Those people that have made it should educate the other people how they have been able to make it out there. And that is one of the way, giving hope. You prepare so that by the time the opportunity comes for you, you're ready to take it on. But without having proper mentorship, most people are going to fall into traps, most people are going to be lied to, people are desperate, people are finished school, people are looking for jobs, they are wondering, how will I survive in this tight economy? Our economy is competing with the individual, it's very tight. So someone is wondering, how am I going to survive? But if you give them hope and tell them, no, at the end of the tunnel there is light, you're going to make it. So the youths, one, need to engage in peer-to-peer education. Then they also have to actively participate in their communities. Go and teach people in your community how to sing, how to dance, and make money out of that.
Thank you very much. Peer-to-peer education, and get a skill, utilize it, engage your community so that you're able to progress and earn from that skill for you to be able to be successful as a youth. But you speak about some bit of frustration that comes with the youth, especially after they have studied and all that. And that's why I want to go to Superintendent William to highlight to us those key scams, because he is well experienced in the field of investigations and all that, scams which the youth are likely to fall for, because that desperation may lead them to such scams, but also how they can respond.
Thank you. You know, in our part of the world, yes, the unemployment rate is high, and the youth should not always think of a white-collar job. The youth must try to learn a trade. They must learn something that they can actually do for themselves, not always relying on government to employ them. You know, gone are the days when after school you are thinking of being employed by the government. Now the numbers churn out from the universities are so many that the youth need to learn a trade that they can help themselves. And now, in as much as the unemployment rate is also high, we have realized that there are all kind of false advertisements on social media.
False advertisement?
Yes, false advertisement for jobs, for non-existent jobs on the social media, such as the WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram, and all the social media, trying to woo the youth. And because they are looking for jobs, some of them don't do what we call due diligence. And they always fall trap into the scammers. And they end up either being scammed with their money. Some of them even use travel abroad as a means to lure unsuspected youth. They will tell you sometimes, oh, I'm in Europe, there's a job opportunity for you. So you pay half, the company will pay half. After introducing you to, for instance, an agent, you are made to travel to a certain country to facilitate your travel documents. On getting there, you realize that the promise they give you is non-existent. They confiscate your passport, take all your money, seize everything from you, and they force you into online criminality and other things, which the youth have to beware before embarking on such journey. It is better for you to stay in your country and struggle than to be lured into other country or other unfamiliar jurisdiction, at the end of the day being exploited for all kind of criminal activities. So the youth have to be very careful. Now, how can they be able to decipher whether the promises are true or not?
Of course.
That is where the problem is. On getting such a false advertisement on the either social media or on the any means, please do what we call go underground, do what we call due diligence, find out. Even if you are in doubt, you can contact the police service of Uganda. They will be particularly the criminal investigation department. They will do what we call background investigation. If the opportunity is good, I don't think police all over the world is against migration. We are not against migration, but we are against illegal migration, where people are trafficked, people are promised all kind of jobs. At the end of the day, they are only end up being disappointed, and that is non-existent job. And even the money that they borrowed, some of them, their parents borrowed money for them. Some of them, they sold their property. Some of them, they did all kind of things just to travel to Europe for greener pastures. And sometimes all their dreams are shattered because they didn't do what we call due diligence before embarking on such journeys.
Thank you very much. I think some of the scams are those who tell you just come on a tourist visa. Most of our young people go to Middle East.
Yes.
And they go on a tourist visa saying we are going to sort yourselves when you reach here. And even though it is not a company, because they are recruitment companies, for example, licensed to take people abroad, but they don't follow them. But Solomon, yeah. I wanted to go to, and I want to bring you from the angle of paragraph 30 of the Kyoto Declaration. Mandates member states, not member states, even all entities, even us, even you, to do youth empowerment for crime prevention. And that's why we thank UNAFRI. UNAFRI has been part of the journey to ensure that the youth, African youth, are engaged in a number of ways to ensure crime is prevented. But speaking from the angle of the youth, you told us you are. When you look at the law that we have, and you look at the policies we have, take an example of Uganda. Do you feel the youth are properly represented in order for them to be able to push their voice and be at the table that decides on the policies of crime prevention?
Yes, thank you so much, Vianny, for that question. And we are I think I should have mentioned this first, that we are privileged to have Mr. William with us here. Yes, we've been together in the UNAFRI Human Training Response, and we have benefited a lot from the knowledge that he has been sharing with us, in addition to other facilitators. Yes, and so I hail the Institute for the great work that it's doing in as far as combating crime is concerned. Now, to get to your question, I think there is more to be done. Yes, in as far as involving the youth is concerned. Yes, if we are going to tackle the problem, which problem is, as we have already discussed, present, it needs no debate. Yes, we can see that there are many young people right now in prisons because of committing crimes, or those that are under trial, okay, because of being suspected for having committed crimes. We need to have the youth involved in the process, okay, at the levels where we are able to involve them, okay. Take an example. Under our laws, for example, the Magistrate Courts Act, okay, section 42 particularly, under that provision, which basically provides for commencement of criminal proceedings, even a private person, an ordinary person, okay, can actually commence a criminal proceeding, okay. How do they do that? By lodging a complaint with a magistrate, okay, complaining that this person has committed an offense and I'm bringing it to your attention, okay. And even beyond that, no one can chase you from reporting an offense at police because you're a young person, okay. So there are avenues, the law has created avenues where everyone can be involved, the youth, the adults. So when we talk about prevention of crimes, we are not only, as Rose mentioned, focusing on particular entities, okay, law enforcement entities. We are not only talking about courts, we are not only talking about the police, but even us as individuals, okay. Yes, but we need to do more in as far as involving the youth is concerned in the whole process of, especially the policy making, okay, because you find that some of these things they are not even aware of, okay. For example, a young person out there may not know that they have the power to actually commence a criminal proceeding. They think it's the role of the police to do that. Okay? And where the police has done that, sometimes you watch videos where a crime has been committed, and then when you see the press trying to interview the people around, someone will say, I don't you understand?
I don't want to be involved.
No. You get it? Why? They think they may end up being called, summoned, or arrested to come and speak about what happened. So there's need to involve them in the policy making. And how do we do that? We begin by sensitizing them, okay? Telling them we are all supposed to come together to fight against crime. It is not something that is supposed to be left to particular entities.
Rose, I want to come to you. For example, I have some feedback here in regard to what you had said from Evelyn Keira. She's saying youth have the knowledge and skills, but most of them are lacking mentorship and funds to bring those ideas into life. But I wanted to, someone has brought in a very important angle, which I wanted to pretend and first highlight briefly on fearing, to speak. You as police officers,
yes.
Why is it that people fear to speak out? Is summoning someone generally a bad thing? Why should people fear, especially the youth, to engage the police? Okay. If I've seen a crime happening, why should I fear to speak out, to give an interview, to give a statement? If you summon someone at the investigation desk, is it always bad news?
Thank you very much. Fighting crime is the responsibility of all the stakeholders. The government have a role to play, the security agencies, all the justice delivery system. But anytime police extend an invitation to you, people should feel free and go and tell the police what you know. That's what we call a Whistleblowers Act in my country, Ghana, which protect witnesses who volunteer to go and give evidence.
In Uganda, we have the same act as
well. Whistleblowers Act. Good.
Yeah.
It protects witnesses. Apart from that, witnesses can be treated as confidential. If you don't want anybody to know that you are the one who is giving the police information, you can go to the station, meet the commander or somebody in private and tell him that, yes, I have information that I want to volunteer to the police to assist in the case and the investigation, but I don't want my identity to be known. Police will treat you with the utmost confidentiality that you need. And anytime you even give police information and your life is in danger, police are bound to give you protection, to ensure that you are protected from harm, you are protected from reprisal attacks, and the rest. So people should feel free, because police are not magicians. Don't forget that police rely on informants and information from the general public that will help us to be able to fight and reduce crime to the barest minimum. That will bring investment into the country, that will bring confidence into the country, so that people can come and invest, so that the job that the youth are seeking, the job that people are looking, people will surely, industries and companies will come, because don't forget, no investor will invest in the country where the crime rate is very high. People will be scared that they will lose their investment. So once we are able to assist in fighting crime rate to the barest minimum, then the economy can improve and to absorb the unemployment youth in the country, because we attract a lot of foreign direct investment into the country, and companies and businesses will open where the youth in the country will get a job. So they should feel free and volunteer information to support police anytime they extend invitation to them.
Thank you very much. Invitation. So, Rose, I want you to pick it from there, but also respond to this issue which was raised by Evelyn. You have no money. They have no money to start the skills you talked about. I don't know, you recommended singing, for example. If you have a talent in singing, you have a skill, you are an artisan, what happens? Should they fold their arms and wait until manna falls to them for them to start?
Thank you once again. No, I strongly believe that they shouldn't fold their hands. In life, I'm speaking now from the mentorship perspective. We try we fail, we try, we fail, and maybe someone has finished school and they're wondering, where am I going to get money? Or some actually even already finished but still don't have what? Jobs. And they're like, where am I going to get money to invest this? Where am I going? But you know, the problem is with us young people, we are dreamers. I don't even want to lie about that. Someone will imagine, I want to start up, let me say, in the angle of fashion. I want to start up a very huge boutique that sells wonderful clothes. And it's very okay to dream, because the more you dream, the more you know that you can get closer to your dream. But that perspective that you have, there is a difference between dreaming and reality. What is the current reality? So most of the young people are drilled into the dream. Oh, I'll one day own a very huge boutique. Oh, one day I'll be this. But start within your means. That's one thing I could tell them. I've shared a few stories with some of the fashionistas, and they will tell you, me, when I was joining the fashion industry, I used to go downtown, get clothes, and go door to door selling, because one day they knew that I would own a very big shop. And before you know it, they are the people that are making for us our wedding gowns. They are the people. So one thing I want to tell the youths that are listening to me today, start within your means. You know, when my mom was starting up the poultry farm that we have at home, she didn't start with a very huge amount of money. She started within her means.
With an egg.
she started not with an egg.
People complain that you tell them start with one egg.
But your dream should live, but bring it back to reality. Am I able to achieve this? In how long? Give yourself a target. You tell yourself, okay, if I'm going to take this loan, it should yield within this amount of what? Time. Exactly. Otherwise, they'll fall prey of crime. I won't lie.
Thank you very much. We have feedback from Twichirize Esther, saying, Solomon, you're submitting well and advocating for youth empowerment in line with paragraph 30 of the Kyoto Declaration. Elizabeth Babazi is saying some parents, when their children graduate, they overpressure them to look for good jobs. They tell them they are mature enough to live in their homes, which is pushing many young people into crimes. Someone to relate to that?
We can relate.
Yes.
You've also been pressured?
Not pressured. In fact, it is even fellow peers. Okay, let us first start with the parents. Now, the parents know I've educated you from baby class to university. And then you're going to tell me from baby class to university, you've not created a network that will enable you get a job. That's where the pressure starts from. And of course, parents want us to be the best versions of ourselves, because they're our parents on earth, and they will tell you, oh, my daughter, hey, have you tried applying? Have you tried? They even send you those news job advertisements. Try here, try here. But I think the selection process says, for you, go away. So the more that happens, you lose hope. You wonder, will I make it? And before you know it, you're seeing your friends make it. And those are some of the issues, Vianny, that are making young people get into depression. Someone starts imagining, my friends are working, others graduated, they are doing well, others are driving. You know, young people today, someone will post their iPhone, unboxing an iPhone. For you, you're still wondering, will I eat today? Will today end when I've gotten a meal? So there are different diversities of life.
Thank you very much indeed. Then we have feedback from Mental Health Talk. They say, they're saying they are following. Then parents should be kind and considerate to their kids. It is pushing many youth into being scammer and prostitution. When your son or daughter graduates, still continue taking your responsibility until they're able to stand on their own. Yes. I think that is important. Parents should understand. Usually, when you graduate, the next day they can call you and say, here we have a problem. Are you able to intervene? Thinking that you have already earned enough money. But usually, things have changed, not the same as many years ago when people would graduate and then immediately they have jobs. True. This time it is about hunting. So I wanted to go to the best practices. William is going to tell us in Ghana what they are doing, and he has a lot of experience in the whole of West Africa. What are you doing, those best practices that should be recommended to other African states in order to improve youth involvement in crime prevention?
Okay. Great. Thank you for the opportunity. You know, in Ghana, we have a youth empowerment program under the Ministry of Youth and Employment. And most of the youth are registered based on your curriculum or your, what do you call it, your certificates and your skill set. So they train them, and so that anytime there's a vacancy within the government circle, you are absorbed. And anytime there are skill sets, for instance, some countries who have signed memorandum of understanding for Ghana to supply them labor. Now Ghana is supplying labor to some of the other countries outside the distance. So this youth empowerment program that the government of Ghana have instituted, they will identify all the youth in the country who are seeking for job, know their skill set, where they can fit in society, in the business sector, in the private sector. So anytime any private sector needs some skill set, they look into the pool of the resources that we have. Then quickly we can supply the private sector with a number of people that he can employ. The same time, if the government sector, there's a vacancy within any government sector, they look at the youth employment program and they fix the youth based on their skill set. The same thing they do when people, they want people to go outside the country. For instance, now Ghana, we export teachers and nurses. It is through the youth development program that we are able to register these nurses, register these teachers, so that anytime there's a need for their services anywhere, we can send them. And some of them are also giving skills training, which is very, very important. They are giving skills training, so that the skills training, some of them are giving small capital to start their own businesses. Some of them are giving techniques of how to do what we call tie and dye batik. Some of them into soap manufacturing. They can produce soap. Some of them into pomade. Some other employable skills and others to help the youth so that they'll be able to get employable skills. Because most of the factories and job owners have been complaining that most of the youth, you employ them, they don't even have the skills. So we have to train them in the skill set so that they can fit into any place that they are offered opportunity. Because I don't think that you can get opportunity when you don't give them opportunity to work. Most of the people who have gained opportunity are people who worked from the beginning and they accumulated that knowledge. So we must also give the youth that opportunity in our jobs, in our companies, in our industries, so that they can also develop their potential and contribute their quota to the national development. So this, apart from the national youth employment that I talk about, now most of the universities are changing the curriculum so that they are able to churn out university graduates that will be able to fit the job market. Not only for you to just go and, reading subject or do something that when you come out, your services is not needed. Now the universities are changing the curriculum so that all the youth that are now churned out can get employable skills so that they can fit into any of the job offers that will come into their way.
That is very powerful. That's very powerful indeed. Youth employment system. That's something that could be adopted. But some of the youth, there is a crime, especially those who are job hunting, which they are very willing to commit. Corruption and bribery. If there was a job today, you advertised and you had the interviews and the people are shortlisted and you said, pay me 500,000. How many of the youth that you know would be willing not to commit that crime? Do you agree with that angle? Why is it easy to do that? And sometimes they don't get those jobs, even after paying the money. Could you speak to that somehow? Well, have you paid the money previously to get a job?
Personally,
Rose is okay. You first finish. You give us her experience because that is one thing which is obvious and must be discussed openly. What is your angle? What's your take, Solomon? If we had start with you.
Okay. Obviously, any person that has need for money, if an opportunity presents itself to get that money, they would want to get it. Okay? And again, you will see that I must say that for corruption, it's a bit different because we can't say that the main factor as to why people are corrupt or they are willing to engage in corruption is poverty. Yes, since we even have the wealthy who are still corrupt.
That's true.
Okay? Yes, as opposed to the other side of other crimes that we're talking about, where the main factor driving that is poverty. Yes, for corruption, someone may still have the money and they will still be corrupt. But yes, I do agree with what you're saying, Vianny, that generally, I don't think an opportunity, someone has been seated at home without a job for a long time, if they got an opportunity and they told them, you know what, there's this place where we are just going to be forging signatures, or we are going to be, there's money supposed to be distributed for purposes of helping a particular government project, but we just want you to help us, in swindling that money. I don't think, truthfully speaking, yesterday in that training that we had, one of the facilitators said something interesting. He said that we are here training you to fight against human trafficking, but I'm sure if a human trafficker came to you and offered you an opportunity to participate in human trafficking, despite the training we've given you, if they're offering you money, you will still do what?
You'll be swayed.
Yes, you will still get into human trafficking.
Okay, so we conclude, Solomon?
Yes, so money is something that many people are looking for. And usually when people get an opportunity, in fact, some people have joked and said, but these people who are always saying that others are corrupt, why don't they also involve us?
In fact, I have feedback from Businga Dairy who says corruption is good when favoring it. Let me pick it from Rose, from there. In 1 minute, your perspective on that. Why are youth very willing to commit that crime?
Now let me tell you, we had just finished campus, waiting for graduation. Now, 1, the parents have very high expectations, Vianny. 2, for example, a person like me that has been a guild president, everyone will say, what is the guild president doing now? Is she like also us? Now for us who are in business school, we are taught that in order to get more money, you need to invest, isn't it? We had just finished campus, someone bought an offer, 250,000, pay it, they even educate you, you're going to learn, you're going to know more about sales. The week ended, we learned very well. We paid in order to get jobs. And by the time it clocked a month, it later rang a bell that there was no job. They even took photos, we've graduated. My friend, there was no job. So one of the biggest reasons as to why people do that, they are desperate. Desperate.
And I think youth employment program could be a very helpful tool. Everybody who has a job should post it there. Such that we avoid those individuals who say, for me, I have a job for you. Let the government have that database. If you have a position, post it there. Then immediately you are matched by someone who has that skill, and we go. We have a good lesson from Ghana.
Mr. Vianny, let me quickly say that bribery and corruption in any form must be condemned, must be discouraged. Because 1, it destroys the social fabric of a nation. The youth, they don't have a job. They are our children, they are family members who are looking for a job. And you want to take money, you want to take bribe from them before you give them a job? It is something we need to condemn. Whether you are a company owner, you are a job owner, please and please, you should know that these very people that you are employing, that will make your company survive. That will make the work for your company to make money. So there's no way you should take bribe before you offer them job. And you know, some of the unfortunate thing, the reality is that some of the CEOs, they even propose love to this, some of the young ladies, they even sleep with them. At the end of the day, they don't even give them the job. So they should stand on their guard. They should refuse to pay the bribery. If they will refuse them job, God will surely make another way for them. As Rose once said, you know, Rome was not built in a day. You can start something small. You can even start, selling something small. And within some short period of time, you can increase or expand it, and now you can become what we call it, a big-time business woman or businessman. So bribery in any form, to me, must be condemned, not only in Uganda, but in Ghana and across the world, because it is not going to help us as a country. It's not going to help instill the moral discipline in the youth. The values system is being looked down upon as a country. So if you want to become a continent, like an advanced country, want to develop to become a well-developed country, we should discourage people paying bribes before they are given or offered jobs in any part of the African continent.
Thank you very much, and I will not go away from that for anything else. Thank you very much. Start small and be sure that you're going to get there. Indeed, crime should be prevented. Do not pay to get a job. Be patient. But even you, the employers, you should stop asking for bribes in order to offer the young people jobs. Because still, it's not the young person who's going to pay that money. It's the parent going to bear the burden, and you are committing a crime. With that, you can be prosecuted. This has been The Checkpoint, which comes to you every Tuesday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. This evening, we are discussing the topic, the role of the youth in crime prevention in Africa. And I had an able panel with me. I had Solomon Buyinza, he's a lawyer. I had Rose Nabwire, who is the 28th Guild President for Makerere University Business School. And I had Superintendent of Police, William Ayaregah. He is a head of unit in Ghana Police Services. Thank you for joining us wherever you joined us from. Thank you for those who have sent us your comments and contributions on our social media handles such as YouTube. And thank you. We shall see you again next week. My name is John Vianny Ayebare. Have a good night.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
Permission to come aboard.
I'm feeling really sick.
My God.
You are extraordinary, my sons. Unlike anything the world has ever seen, bound for greatness, destined to protect the people of New York. A dark force is growing. A criminal organization known as the Foot Clan. So named because they step over the good people of this city with no regard. Their leader, the Shredder, will come at you with ferocity. His Foot Clan will outnumber you. The people of New York will look upon you as their only hope. Eyes focused, elbows locked, stance low. And we begin. Be one with the blades. Lead their path. I know you are eager to answer their calls, but your training is not yet complete. The world below must remain your home. As your father, you must trust me